everyone. We are on the venue of IGF 2024 and we have a great opportunity to take an interview and Krис Bakridž is our next expert that agreed on the interview. Thank you so much. Krис is independent expert in the field of Internet Society, Internet Governance Society. So thank you so much once again. And what do you think are the most significant trends in the development of the Internet and digital technologies these years?
So I think the last year has been really active, like more active than most years. And we've seen, it's been very active, and we've seen the development and conclusion of a few things like the Global Digital Compact in the UN. We've seen a new cybercrime treaty which has been agreed in the General Assembly in the UN. So I think that particular trend, because also regulation at the national level, there's a lot of different regulatory approaches being adopted by governments in relation to the internet. And that's something different from, say, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It's something that's really increased significantly. So I think that combined sort of poses a bit of a challenge to the technical community, you know, ideal for a multi-stakeholder internet governance approach, where it's not just government making regulation, it's government working with the different stakeholders, with the technical community, with the private sector, with civil society, to actually develop the best rules for promoting a global interoperable internet, which is the really fundamental goal that I hope we can all agree on. I'm not sure, you know, that's quite as clear cut as it once was, but it really is where the value in the internet lies. It's that connection to possible connection to all other parts of the world, all other users. And the more users we bring online, the more of humanity that we bring online, the more that communication and connection is possible.
Well, thank you so much that you mentioned not only AI, as far as, well, like, I know that it is buzzing topic, but well, yeah, it is something really valuable. And also you mentioned technical community, and my next question was connected with it. So how do you evaluate the role of technical community in the internet governance? So it looks like it's changed recently, so some of experts said that, well, it is no more like technical community, it's like civil society or business. What do you think about it?
So there was this discussion in the context of the Global Digital Compact, which was a slightly different UN process to the World Summit on the Information Society, the IGF, where it's accepted that the technical community is a distinct stakeholder group. So in the relation to the Global Digital Compact, it was coming more from the development kind of area of the United Nations, and the technical community was not recognized as distinct. And so there was a lot of pushback and argument against that. Now, stakeholder groups in the context of the IGF and UN processes are complicated no matter what. They're very sort of porous, and there's a lot of overlap, and you know, as an individual, you might find yourself in one or both or different stakeholder groups. The best way to look at it, I think, is in terms of the motivations for the different stakeholder groups. So as government stakeholder, your motivation is protecting citizens, ensuring the sort of benefit of the state and of the population. From a private sector, your motivation is to make sure that business can be conducted on the internet, to make sure that that's as easy and straightforward as possible. Civil society, your motivation is mainly looking to ensure that human rights are respected online and in internet governance spaces. The technical community's motivation is to ensure that the technology that is the internet is able to operate and continue to develop regardless of what regulations or legislation or laws are put in place. And so I think if you understand the multi-stakeholder model as finding the balance between those different motivations, then it makes a lot more sense. It's still very complicated when it comes down to the level of individuals, but at a sort of structural logic it makes more sense.
Well, yeah, it's also related to me because, well, I'm from university, so I'm like academia, but on the other hand, I'm from technical university, so we work with future experts and technicians, and our teachers are experts, so that's why we work with ITU for standards, and so, so we are related to different communities in this case, so I know what you're talking about. Thank you for sharing this.
And academia and the technical community have always been, sometimes merged together, sometimes regarded distinctly, but yeah, they're both the sort of the addition of WSIS to the stakeholder group spectrum.
It's the case of motivation and goal, as you said. So that's so great. Yeah. Thank you so much. And the last question, as far as we partly discussed the topic of this year's IGF, but what about last year? So IGF in 2023, the topic was Internet We Want. And what kind of internet you want? Please share your ideas.
If I'm coming from a sort of technical community perspective, I think the internet that we want is global, is interoperable, is able to develop and evolve to meet the needs of more and more of humanity. But I really encourage everyone to go and have a look at the document that the IGF leadership panel produced, because that comes from a much broader perspective and brings in a lot of other issues as well, and that's the multi-stakeholder model.
Yeah, thank you so much for this interview and for your time.
Okay, thank you very much.